And it will do this. It will deliver you to higher realms. And then something in you will deliver yourself back to a lower realm. And you'll do that flitting in and out of both states for a while. Don't use that to question your sanity. Let's do an energy update about the pressure that we're in right now. There is a big build-up of energy on our planet, something that we're not used to being around. We're used to having waves of energy flit into our reality, giving us an opportunity to integrate and accommodate a new light frequency, meet it, match it, and then it dissipates. That's what we're used to. This one is behaving entirely differently. What we have is underneath Earth's magnetic field, locked into place, we have plasma light, and it's building and it's building and it's building. And many light workers will at this stage be feeling a sense of, okay, enough already. Okay, when is the reprieve coming? When do I get to exhale? When's that breath going to happen? Instead, the exact opposite is happening. More build-up, more acceleration, more accumulation, because this is exactly how we are bracing ourselves for the next phase of ascension. And that is learning to meet the plasma light that is coming into our field with the plasma light body within us. In other words, this is a massive plasma light body activation. And that mounting pressure, think of it like this. Think of the pressure that forms diamonds. This is exactly what we're going through. And yet, having said that, you might think, oh my God, I'm going to be squished. I'm going to be squashed. There's going to be no room to breathe. I'm not going to have any space for me. This is not punishment. This is not a case of you're doing something wrong. And it's also not a case of you're going to have to suffer through this one, baby, because Ascension is all about struggle and suffering. So bear the burden and off you go. It is none of that at all. That mounting, brewing, building plasma light pressure, so to speak, is simply the presence of the cosmic field that we have been deprived of and disconnected from for so long. We have so lost touch with the true self, the infinite self, the cosmic being that we are, who lives in that pool of plasmic consciousness. That's our natural state. And isn't it kind of interesting that as we bring that natural state back online, because the human expression that has been wired to navigate the false matrix is so very disengaged, disconnected from the true self, it simply doesn't yet recognize that that's a home frequency, that's a home state. So many people are feeling that looming pressure because they're fighting against something that needs to be activated from the inside. And as we go through today's conversation, I'm going to take us into an ending activation, an ending energy activation, so that we can all get a little taste of that moment where the inner light meets and matches that external presence. And then instead of feeling pressure, you're going to start feeling support. Instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, I want to burst, I want to get rid of this, you're going to feel like, bring it closer. Let me breathe it in. Let me fill myself up on this. Because once again, that's our nature. So how will people navigate through this existing energy? In a variety of ways. And you may very well find yourself going through all the ways that I'm about to mention. Some people are going to go through this big build up of plasma light and they're going to say, oh la la, baby, I am home. It is so grounded here. I am so calm here. I am so stable. I am so peaceful inside of this field. Where was this all along? And they're not going to feel like some radical breakthrough has happened. They're just going to feel almost a sense of normal, a very easy shift into something that they wouldn't even necessarily call a higher realm. They would just say, no, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling calm. See, we make no drama in our mind when we shift into higher frequency. So there are those that are going to acclimate to this seamlessly, beautifully, grounded and calm. That's what they're going to feel like. But then there will be those people who feel almost a sense of, I'm going to explode. That mounting plasma pressure is calling and catalyzing the plasma light body within. And when that plasma light body within begins to stir, it unsettles all of the places inside of ourselves where we have compromised. So self-compromise. In other words, the denial of the true self, the denial of self, the dishonoring of self, those types of energies will flare up. And you're suddenly going to find yourself not being able to accommodate things that you could normally bear, people that you could normally just keep quiet around, circumstances that didn't really jar you. Maybe you had an inner eye roll and you walked away. Suddenly you're going to find that you can't suppress, because this is not the time for suppression. And I think across the board, every single light worker will have that experience. I cannot put a lid on where I am, how I am, what I feel. It's just bubbling up, baby. It's just coming to the surface. Yes. 1,000 times yes. That's exactly correct, because the plasma light body is coming to the surface. And when that does, there is no room to hold the unconsciousness, no room within to hold the density that we were once holding. And as it dissolves, it's that density dissolving. That's that outburst that we might feel, or that feeling of intense pressure that we might experience. And watch out for things like ringing in the ears. Just talking about that building pressure. And I know a lot of you have had that specific Ascension symptom, the ringing in the ears. Now, certainly, now more than ever, as that plasma light body from the inside begins to erupt, throwing off all of that density, it is entirely possible that the head can ache. You can feel pressure in the head, sinuses, ear ache. You can feel everything going, a congestion, a general congestion in the head. And of course, tinnitus or ringing in the ears can very well be a part of that. But please know this about Ascension symptoms. Ascension symptoms describe a disturbance in energy. Now, right now, fair enough, the disturbance is coming from within in the form of all of the past wounds. That's the inner disturbance coming out. So it can create landscape for Ascension symptoms to be there. Don't judge yourself if they are. Let them go. Equally, don't judge yourself if you don't have them. Also, let that idea go. You don't need to have Ascension symptoms to prove that you're ascending. We're all doing it in a very unique way. We are learning to calibrate this being to a higher key code, a higher light field. And the way that you're going to do it and the nuances that you're going to experience are so unique to your journey. Nonetheless, those Ascension symptoms can certainly be there. Sometimes, however, this is just for your own information. Sometimes those Ascension symptoms don't come from a discharge from within, as they are right now. Sometimes they come from a disturbance from without, a disturbance sitting in the field. This can be electromagnetic frequencies, and it can be cell phone towers, and it can be just the bombardment of a very unnatural world that we've been living in. That can also cause the pressure in the head. It can also cause the ringing in the ears. So what I'm saying to you is those Ascension symptoms can be coming from within or from the external environment. Either way, we'll do that energy activation and bring you into a little bit of a higher alignment. When that happens, if an Ascension symptom does occur, breathe it through. Be present with it, because there's something beyond Ascension symptoms. Now we're cooking. Now we're talking. What is beyond Ascension symptoms? You see, we went to Ascension symptoms and said, okay, this is mine to endure. I better just stay here. No, beyond Ascension symptoms is the moment where you've elevated to the point that the ascension symptom no longer registers in your field. Whether it's an emotional or physical pain that you're experiencing, we are accelerating to the point that those symptoms no longer tug at our heels and drag us into a downward spiral or a state of suffering. This is about rising up from suffering. Always remember that every step on your ascension journey is a rising up. It is not a punishment or a going backwards. Now, moments back, I said we've got some different ways of dealing with the energies. And I explained to you how there will be those that are calm and grounded. I explained to you how there will be those that are freaking out because they're feeling that looming pressure that they cannot shut down. And so they're going to feel a little bit out of control. In a sense, yes, they are. Because where did control ever come from? The head. That's where control lived. It was the head trying to, or the brain trying to force a reality into place. It can't do that right now. We can only align to authenticity. But how else can we experience this? Look for what you're sick of. You know when people say, I am so sick of ... whatever it is in your world, look for that thing and understand that it's going to be in your face right now until you release it. Another way that we can experience a reaction to this energy is nervous system dysregulation, where you may feel anything from overwhelmed to exhausted to rattled to unable to feel sane or feel normal or function the way you were supposed to. Correct, but not in a negative sense. Correct. We cannot function as the blind operators that we once were, the disconnected navigators, the zombie-like populace of the false matrix. That's not who we are anymore. Let's talk a little bit about the nature of plasma light. Yes, how can I not say it? The online community that I have nurtured and loved and devoted myself to, that's been the biggest part of my life for the last couple of years now, is the plasma light tribe. Because plasma light is the light that allows the body, the physical form, to shift into the ascension body. It is through that mechanism. So think of the caterpillar that becomes the butterfly. It needs the cocoon. Think of plasma as that precious, sacred cocoon that the body goes into and is surrounded by the protection of as it undergoes its metamorphosis from 3D into 5D. Plasma light is such a potent, powerful, interesting energy because it can show up in both worlds. It can show up as physicality and form in the 3D world, and it can also be invisible or out of phase to the 3D world as it seamlessly integrates into the 5D world. We would then lose sight of it in the 3D world, but it would pop into that 5D world. You are going to start feeling something very similar in your life. You're going to start feeling, one moment I'm here, for example, in the doomsday or in the chaos or in the I don't know what's going to happen. And the next moment you're in the elevation and the peace and what was I worrying about, and life is truly beautiful. And you can flit between those two as the plasma light field starts coming online for you. So don't feel like you're losing thread and which one are you? Your plasma light body that's been totally inaccessible to you is now starting to become part of the human form again and interact right here. And it will do this. It will deliver you to higher realms. And then something in you will deliver yourself back to a lower realm. And you'll do that flitting in and out of both states for a while. Don't use that to question your sanity. Just acknowledge those moments when it happens. And the more that happens, the more you are becoming versed in experiencing yourself in two different dimensions. And ultimately, that place that we call ascension, that process, that moment of the solar flash, is when we irrevocably move ourselves into the 5D realm without being able to fall back in onto a lower reality or into a lower reality again. Let's do a little bit of energy work right now. Let's start it this way. I'm going to say to you the following very simple, very, very simple words. Now, you can go ahead and save this video if you want to. If you don't have the time or the stillness to do this process with me, then you're welcome to do it at a later time. But even if you just let these words wash over you in the background, something will be called forth inside of you. Of course, the more present you can let yourself be with these words, the more potent, the more powerful. You'll also find that if you come back to these words that I'm about to share with you, maybe in a day or two, or maybe in a week or two, that your experience will be different. You'll hear them differently. You'll hear things that almost didn't seem to be there the first time. So you can let me know in the comments below, once we've gone through this, what your experience was. But here's where we start. Simple truth. Simple truth. You are light. It's your nature. It's who you are. And you've been experiencing yourself inside density as density. That's the illusion of who you are. There is something being triggered within you, and it is not me triggering it. It is the universe and your own soul in a grand cosmic dance. And that dance is taking place inside of you, and it's the dance of illumination. There's a communication between the universe and your own soul that you are a part of, not separate from. That's taking place inside of you right now. And as it does, as your awareness and your attention gets drawn to that, it feels easier somehow to be more present somehow inside your physical body, your physical form. So go ahead and pick a point, pick a place, pick a part of your body, your chest, your arms, your legs, your stomach, your back, wherever. Pick a part of your body that feels easy for you to anchor into. And then feel as if you're doing exactly that, grounding down into that part of your body and giving yourself an experience of yourself whilst being seated in, grounded in, and anchored in to a deeper part of your presence. Now, as all of this occurs inside of you, the sun is above you, and the sun is a plasma light body. And the sun is the portal through which the plasma that we are interacting with right now is reaching us. Just be aware. Just be aware of the massive streaming flow of plasma light that is pouring down from the sun directly into our solar system, directly into our planet, directly into our field, directly into the physical form that you are in. Let that plasma light meet you as you are, where you are. You do not need to be perfectly still, perfectly perfect, achieved all your goals, become successful before you can allow this to happen. This is allowed to happen because you allow it. Because you say yes, so do that. Feel that word. You don't have to say it. Feel the word yes. It's a simple permission. It's a simple opening. And it says to the universe, yes, I am ready to receive. Even if my brain doesn't understand this, I am ready to receive the plasma light activation that is streaming down from the cosmic realm into my physical world right now. I am ready. I am willing. Oh, That's a big word. I am willing. Willing does the same thing that yes does. It creates openness. It creates permission. Now you begin to understand something truly powerful, and that is you are the one that allows this process. Your receptivity to the plasma light is what makes this so seamless. The more receptive you are, the more accessible the light becomes, the easier to integrate, the more seamless the activation, the less there is to resist, the less there is to push against. Receptivity of your own divine light, plasma light, is a massive part of your multidimensional body. All of your multidimensional body, all of it, is surrounded by plasma light. That's how integral it is to your totality, to your wholeness. It's your nature. Just like this is your nature. Love. So now we've reached a different part of the activation. Love. No matter what you experienced or didn't experience in the first part, this is the second part. Drop down into love, which is a pool of consciousness in your heart, which is activated by me saying to you that my heart knows yours, because it does. And from my heart, all the way to yours, there is a stream of love, a pulsing stream of universal consciousness that we call love. And everything in you, not your brain, your being, everything in you knows how to say yes to that love. Just like you said yes to the plasma light, feel the yes to love. Feel the willingness. Feel the openness that creates when you feel your willingness to let love in. We don't need words. You can use them if you want to, but what we're really looking for is the feeling behind the words. Yes, I am willing to receive love more deeply than ever before, more completely than I ever dreamed possible. I am willing to receive that much love and more. There are no limits here, because the true nature of love is that it is completely abundant, ever expanding, overflowing. Your heart is not meant to contain all the love. It ripples. It ripples from you. And it goes exactly where it needs to go. It is a divine intelligence, just like the plasma light. Now feel what it feels like on the inside of your being to be you. A little bit easier, a little bit freer, a lot less resistance. Okay. Now you got it.